Most people think of the fridge as the center of nourishment, the heartbeat of the kitchen and a symbol of modern convenience. It hums in the background, quietly doing its job, storing our meals, our comfort, our routines. But what no one tells you is this: when the space around your fridge is misaligned, you are not just storing food. You're also storing chaos, stagnation, and invisible energetic blocks. And these blocks don't stay trapped in the kitchen. They ripple outward into your sleep, your stress levels, your luck, your health, and your future. Think about this. Every time you open your fridge, you're tapping into a space that's meant to support your body. But when that space is cluttered with sharp tools, overloaded with boxes, or sitting next to cleaning chemicals and garbage bins, you're not feeding nourishment. You're feeding conflict. It's subtle, it's quiet, but over time, it changes how energy moves through your home and through your life. This isn't about superstition. It's about awareness. It's about understanding that your home is not a silent observer. It's an energetic mirror. And the way you treat each zone of that mirror, especially one as essential as the kitchen, shapes what you experience outside it. When a fridge is surrounded by low vibration objects, things that represent decay, aggression, or neglect, your home loses the balance it needs to nourish you fully. Let me ask you something that's a little uncomfortable but deeply necessary. Does your kitchen feel like a sanctuary, or has it become a storage zone for convenience items you've stopped noticing? Because here's the truth. What's hidden in plain sight is often the most powerful. And your fridge, as ordinary as it seems, is one of the most energetically sensitive zones in your home. Every single object around it tells a story. That knife rack leaning too close to the side, that pile of boxes sitting on top for months, that mop and bleach bottle tucked nearby, they each speak. And whether you realize it or not, your subconscious is listening. Your nervous system is listening. Your prosperity and peace are listening, and the story they're hearing might be one of overwhelm, neglect, and blocked flow. Now here's where it gets serious. When the space around your fridge is energetically disharmonious, the consequences aren't just visual or symbolic, they're physical. You may start to notice low-grade fatigue, restless sleep, digestive issues, mood swings. You might find yourself spending more on groceries but feeling less satisfied. You may work harder but experience fewer gains. Okay? Because in Feng Shui, the kitchen governs more than food. It governs wealth, harmony, feminine energy, and your family's foundation. And when the core of that space is cluttered, burned out, or imbalanced, everything it feeds becomes weaker too. But the good news? This is all changeable, quickly, powerfully, and without spending a fortune or renovating your entire home. In this video, we're going to walk through the 4 most damaging items to place near your fridge, and more importantly, where to move them so your kitchen begins to support your well-being instead of sabotaging it. We'll go deeper than just visual aesthetics. We'll talk about energetic function. We'll show you how each placement affects your body, your energy, and your emotional life. And I promise you, once you see it, you'll never unsee it. You'll begin to walk through your kitchen not with frustration or stress, but with clarity. You'll feel it when something is off. You'll notice when your energy spikes or slumps. And most importantly, you'll gain the tools to shift it. This video was created with one mission in mind: to help you reconnect with the intelligence of your space. Because when your home becomes a true ally, not just a backdrop, you start to heal in ways you didn't expect. Opportunities feel closer, meals feel more nourishing, sleep feels deeper, relationships feel less tense. It's not magic, it's not mysticism, it's energy, organized, intentional, and aligned with your life. And before we get into the deep part of the video, I want to invite you into something small but powerful. If you find this message valuable, please take a second now to hit like, share it with someone whose kitchen needs love, and subscribe to this channel, New Day Mindfulness. My goal is to reach 5,000 subscribers so I can continue sharing high-quality, emotionally grounded, and practical Feng Shui content to help you align your space and yourself. Your support doesn't just help me, it helps us create a ripple of mindful homes and lives across the world. Now take a breath, step into this space with fresh eyes, and let's explore the energy around your fridge, the most overlooked altar in your home. Mistake 1, fire elements next to the fridge. You walk into the kitchen thinking it's just another room, a place to grab a snack, prepare a quick dinner, or store leftovers. But beneath the modern countertops and stainless steel, something deeper is happening. A quiet, energetic war between fire and cold. And chances are your home might be caught in the crossfire without you even knowing it. Most people never think about this. They see a microwave sitting next to the fridge or a stovetop sharing the same wall and think, well, it fits. It's convenient. It's functional. It's what the floor plan suggested. But in Feng Shui, convenience is not the same as harmony. In fact, sometimes convenience masks conflict. And nowhere is this conflict more disruptive than when fire and cold meet, side by side, day after day, inside your kitchen. Let's start with the energy behind it. Your fridge, by nature, is an object of stillness. It's a cold element. Its role is to preserve, slow, hold, and stabilize. It represents nourishment, memory, and structure. When placed correctly, it becomes the foundation of digestive and emotional balance in every home. It supports calm decision-making, steady routines, and grounded well-being. But next to that fridge, if you place a fiery object, like a stove, oven, microwave, or toaster oven, you've now brought in an opposing force. Fire doesn't preserve, it transforms, it accelerates, it heats, excites, and moves energy outward. And when these two elements sit too closely together, one trying to slow down, the other trying to speed up, your kitchen enters a quiet state of energetic dissonance. You might not see it, but you will feel it. Have you ever noticed that in some kitchens, even when they're clean and organized, something still feels tense or unsettling? You may find yourself cooking quickly, eating too fast, losing appetite, or on the opposite end, overeating without satisfaction. There's a restless undercurrent. Conversations near the fridge feel clipped. The room feels hotter than it should, or colder than it needs to. And over time, that subtle dissonance begins to affect your nervous system, your digestion, even your spending patterns. Here's why. In classical Feng Shui, the kitchen isn't just a place for food. It's a container for wealth energy. It's the zone where earth and fire meet to transform raw material into life force. But when fire overwhelms or battles with another element, especially cold, it throws off the entire energetic circuit. When your fridge is placed directly next to a fire element, you're constantly feeding tension into the very center of your family's nourishment and fortune. Think of it like trying to meditate next to a bonfire. It's not impossible, but the environment doesn't support stillness. Now let's talk layout. In most modern homes, especially the apartments and small condos, kitchens are designed with efficiency, not energy in mind. That means the stove and the fridge are often installed side by side, with little more than an inch of counter space or thin metal casing between them. From a construction perspective, it saves space. From an energy perspective, it's like placing a volcano next to a glacier and expecting stability. The fridge struggles to regulate temperature because of the residual heat. The stove pulls more energy to maintain flame or heat. And the person using that space, usually you, begins to feel unsettled without understanding why. Let me bring in a story here. I once worked with a client in her early 40s, a busy entrepreneur who had built a business from scratch. Her apartment was sleek, high-end, and impeccably designed, but her kitchen always felt off. "I love cooking," she said, "but I never feel at peace in this space. I'm always rushing." When I walked into her kitchen, I saw it instantly. Her large, high-powered gas stove was directly flush with her industrial-sized fridge. No buffer, no transition, just fire and ice at war. We rearranged the layout, placing a butcher block shelf in between, symbolically and functionally creating space. Within days, she texted me, "I don't know what you did, but I feel calmer. Cooking feels like self-care again." This shift is not just energetic, it's emotional. Your subconscious constantly processes your environment. When you enter a kitchen where two dominant energies are clashing, your nervous system adjusts to that tension. That can look like poor sleep, irritability, or even chronic digestive issues. The body interprets environmental cues just like it does food. So when your fridge and your stove are in conflict, your internal systems may mirror that stress without you ever connecting the dots. Let's talk about alternatives, because I understand that not everyone can knock down a wall or move appliances freely, but even small shifts make a big difference. If your fridge and stove are directly next to one another, consider placing a wooden cutting board, tray, or butcher block surface between them. Wood is a transitional element in Feng Shui. It helps harmonize fire and cold. Add a vertical plant like golden pothos or lucky bamboo to create a visual and energetic buffer. Use color, a soft earth tone cloth or even a neutral towel hanging on the fridge door handle helps soften the polarity. Introduce metal or glass to cool the fire, like a small stainless steel utensil holder between them. At minimum, make sure your fridge is not bearing the heat, both physically and symbolically. These changes may feel small, but in Feng Shui, small shifts lead to major energetic realignments. Once you remove the war between fire and cold, your kitchen becomes a space of cooperation, not conflict. Cooking slows down, conversations deepen. Your relationship with food and money shifts subtly, then significantly. And let's be real, most people watching this video have this exact mistake in their kitchen. That's why this section matters most, because once you correct this imbalance, you're not just fixing a layout, you're creating a foundation for nourishment, for peace, for flow. So here's what I invite you to do today. Take a moment, stand in your kitchen, look at your fridge, look at what's around it. Ask yourself, is this arrangement feeding my nervous system or draining it? Don't wait for a crisis to make a change. Small shifts now prevent bigger blockages later. Because ultimately, Feng Shui is not about rules, it's about relationship. The relationship between energy and space, between intention and outcome, between how your home feels and how your life unfolds. You can't heal in a house at war with itself. But when the battlefield becomes a sanctuary, healing becomes inevitable. And it all begins right next to your fridge. Mistake 2, sharp or cutting objects stored too close. Your fridge feeds you, but blades beside it feed anxiety. That single truth unlocks more than just a Feng Shui principle. It reveals how everyday placement decisions quietly sabotage your sense of safety, comfort, and nourishment. And yet, it's a mistake found in almost every household, especially in modern kitchens that prioritize convenience over energetic clarity. Knives on the counter, scissors magnetically stuck to the fridge, can openers dangling just inches away. It's fast, it's logical, but energetically, it's harmful. Let's start here. Your fridge is the modern hearth. In ancient homes, the fire pit was the soul of the dwelling. Today, the fridge has inherited that role. It holds your food, regulates your family's rhythm, and quietly governs nourishment. It's where we instinctively turn after a long day. When we feel drained, we look inside. When we celebrate, we store the cake there. When we mourn, we ignore it. The fridge reflects the heartbeat of our home's vitality, and this is precisely why placing anything that symbolically or physically cuts that flow disrupts not only its purpose, but your own peace. The subconscious mind reads environment faster than your conscious mind can name it. You might not think twice about a butcher knife sitting in a block right next to your refrigerator, but your nervous system does. Your subconscious doesn't evaluate the object based on practicality, it evaluates based on symbol. And a sharp object, especially the metallic and angular, signals alert, danger, and severance. These are not abstract interpretations. They're evolutionary imprints. Our brains have evolved to stay hyper-aware of edges, especially near sources of food or rest. So even if your conscious mind shrugs it off, your body tenses, your breathing shortens, your digestion weakens, and over time, that small shift becomes chronic background stress. Now let's talk about the emotional layer. Have you ever opened the fridge late at night? Not because you're hungry, but because something's unsettled? That's emotional hunger. That's your energy system searching for grounding, for sweetness, for warmth. But if what surrounds that fridge is cold, sharp, or hostile, what you receive is none of those things. You receive tension, and that tension often shows up as insomnia, mindless snacking, or increased arguments in the home. Voybois, because nourishment is not just about calories, it's about emotional safety, and sharp objects signal anything but safety. I've seen this mistake most often in family homes that function well on the outside, but feel energetically brittle inside. In one consultation, a couple, both high performers in their careers, had a gleaming kitchen, stainless steel finishes, an oversized fridge, perfect organization. And yet they both admitted to feeling on edge most evenings. They'd bicker over the smallest things. Meals felt rushed. Their sleep was light and broken. The clue? A full magnetic strip of sharp knives lining the side of their fridge. Their logic? Easy access while cooking. The energy? It was like lining the nursery with thorns. Once we shifted those blades into a drawer, out of sight, out of direct line with the fridge, the shift was instant. Arguments decreased, mealtime softened. The kitchen no longer felt like a stage of conflict. Here's a truth that hits deep. The energy around your food becomes the energy within your body. So when your fridge is pierced by blades, your body absorbs that disruption. You digest faster, but less fully. You crave more, but feel less satisfied. You feed, but don't truly nourish. And on a spiritual level, you begin to fragment, because energy that is constantly being cut doesn't stay whole. Let's also touch on the placement of smaller sharp objects: scissors, corkscrews, box cutters, even a peeler with exposed blades. When stored openly or leaning against the fridge, they carry the same energetic signature as larger blades. In Feng Shui, anything with a cutting edge represents division, separation between ideas, people, or intentions. So having them facing or touching the fridge subtly cuts into the harmony of your food flow. It's like preparing a meal with one hand while the other undoes what you just built. But this mistake doesn't just affect meals, it bleeds into relationships. When food is the first casualty of stress, connection is usually the second. If your fridge holds the space for nourishment and the objects around it stir conflict, that energy is mirrored in your interactions. More misunderstandings, more defensiveness, less patience. I've seen couples relocate their sharp kitchen tools and report a drop in their evening arguments within the week. Coincidence? Science would say no. Environmental psychology tells us that we're profoundly shaped by visual cues, especially in liminal moments like entering a kitchen or reaching for a meal. Now let's address a common question. Isn't it okay as long as the knives are in a wooden block? The answer is it depends on placement. If the block is to the side of the fridge but does not directly touch it, and the blades are fully covered, the energetic impact is reduced. But if the block touches the fridge's body, or if it's directly in front of the fridge door, the friction remains. The proximity matters. So does the direction the knives face. Ideally, any sharp object should be turned inward, not outward, reducing the outward attack vibe and containing the energy. Some might say this sounds too symbolic, but here's the power of symbolism. Your home speaks in symbols even when you don't. That's why Feng Shui works. Because the energy of an object is not just in its function, but in its meaning. A blade near the heart of your nourishment says, I'm prepared for defense, not love, not comfort, not unity. So what's the ideal fix? First, relocate all knives, scissors, and sharp tools to a closed drawer. Not transparent, not facing up. Use a wooden tray or lining to soften the vibration. If you must display kitchen tools, choose rounded utensils, wooden spoons, or ceramic tools. These carry the earth element, which balances the water energy of the fridge beautifully. Earth softens, metal cuts. Choose softness. Another underrated solution? Add a plant. A small jade plant or pothos placed between the fridge and any lingering sharp element acts as a natural buffer. In energy terms, the plant absorbs and transforms aggressive qi into neutral or even nourishing energy. It's not woo-woo, it's energetic logic. Living things regulate harsh frequency. That's why plants heal homes faster than decor ever could. For homes with limited space where knives can't be hidden away, I recommend reframing the area visually. Add a piece of art above the fridge, something fluid, calm, and curved. Avoid anything with sharp angles or chaotic colors. Think waves, fields, a bowl of fruit. This visual rebalancing tricks the subconscious into relaxing the energetic tension of the knives below. The goal is not perfection, it's intentionality. And let me emphasize this for you directly. If you live alone, the effect may be even stronger. Because when your kitchen is the only energy source in your space, any disruption around it echoes louder. If you often feel anxious while cooking, emotionally drained at night, or find yourself snacking mindlessly, you might not need a diet plan. You might just need to move your scissors. Let's come back to the heart of this mistake. Your fridge is trying to nourish you. It wants to be a soft, dependable anchor, but sharp objects strip away that softness. They invite aggression into what should be sanctuary. So make the shift. Store your sharp tools wisely. Protect the energy of your fridge, because when your food space is calm, your mind follows, your body heals, and your home becomes the haven it was meant to be. If this insight brought you clarity, remember, it's not about superstition. It's about support. Your environment either nurtures your nervous system or nudges it into fight or flight. When you remove the visual threat, you reclaim peace without saying a word. And that's the quiet power of Feng Shui. Mistake 3, clutter or boxes on top. Every home carries its own heartbeat, and in most households, the fridge is part of that rhythm. Quiet, constant, unassuming. It keeps our meals fresh, our routines in flow, and our sense of nourishment in on. But there's something many people never consider, what lives above it. Boxes, bins, unused appliances, cookbooks, even cereal towers stacked like a makeshift pantry. They seem harmless, convenient, out of the way. But what if that very convenience is slowly working against your energy, your focus, your momentum? Let's anchor this truth. In Feng Shui, everything vertical matters. Energy doesn't just flow around your home, it rises, and it rises with a purpose. Just as trees stretch upward to reach the sun, so too does the qi within your kitchen strive to move freely, elevate, and awaken inspiration. But when we place objects directly on top of our fridge, especially heavy, stagnant, or unused items, we create a silent lid, a ceiling where there should be open sky. So let's talk about the fridge itself. This isn't just an appliance, it's a symbol. In Feng Shui, the fridge represents nourishment, storage, and long-term planning. It connects to wealth, yes, but also to mental clarity, digestive flow, and personal grounding. It holds food, and in many ways, it holds time because every frozen soup, leftover meal, or fresh vegetable represents a decision, a cycle, an intention. That means the space above the fridge matters more than we think. Because if the body of the fridge is about containment, the space above is about expansion. And when we trap that expansion beneath clutter, we don't just block air, we block energy, imagination, ambition, and breath. I've visited hundreds of homes in my career, and this right here, is one of the most common mistakes I see. Boxes filled with rarely used baking tools, old toasters, even empty containers saved for someday. The fridge becomes a storage island, forgotten but visible. And that visibility, friends, is the issue. Because every time you walk into your kitchen, even if you don't register it consciously, your brain reads the block. Your spirit absorbs the signal. That signal says, there's no room to grow. And worse, this space is already full. Let me say this clearly for everyone watching, because this is a point you'll want to remember. When you store clutter above your fridge, you are symbolically weighing down your own progress. You're telling the universe, I'm already carrying enough, I can't take on more. And guess what? That message is received. This might sound subtle, but the impacts are not. Clients report all kinds of symptoms without realizing the source. I just can't focus lately. I feel like I'm walking in circles. I've been so tired even after 8 hours of sleep. I start projects and never finish. All of these could be signals that your upward energy is trapped, compressed at the crown of your space. Now let's ground this even further. Think about airflow. Your fridge already emits cold. That cold symbolizes yin, calm, stable, heavy energy. But the top of your fridge is the transition point. It should allow the yin below to give way to balanced yang, movement, openness, vitality. When you place objects on top, and especially metal containers, dusty boxes, or electronics, you trap cold. You stagnate the upper half of the kitchen's energetic body. It's like trying to do yoga in a coat, or like trying to meditate with someone pressing on your forehead. There's no breath, no release, and it's not just about you. In family households, this blocked upward energy can create miscommunication, especially between parents and children, or partners living under the same roof. Because everyone's mental sky is subconsciously registering pressure. You may not argue about the boxes, but you may argue more often. Feel agitated, rush through meals, lose your appetite for creativity. Let me tell you a quick story. I once worked with a couple in Chicago, two artists, vibrant, passionate, but exhausted. They had tried everything, scheduling, supplements, therapy, even career changes, but the one thing they hadn't touched was their kitchen. I walked in and saw it instantly. On top of their fridge sat a collection of cast iron pans, cake tins, and a giant blue box labeled Missy. That box, they later admitted, had been packed 5 years ago and never opened. 5 years of old receipts, keys, cords, paperwork. 5 years of unresolved energy. 5 years of emotional dust. I asked them to do one thing before anything else: clear the top of their fridge completely. Nothing left but air and intention. The following week, they called me. One had finished an application they'd put off for months. The other slept through the night for the first time in weeks. It wasn't magic. It was momentum, finally freed. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but I don't have space. I need that storage. I hear you. But here's the truth. Using your fridge as a shelf costs you more than it saves. The little convenience of not reorganizing your cabinets might be delaying your bigger breakthroughs. Let's imagine it visually. Picture a ceiling fan trying to spin. Now imagine someone placing a heavy quilt on top. It may still turn, but slowly, with resistance, and eventually it stops. That's your fridge, your flow, your focus. Underweight it was never meant to carry. And speaking of visuals, I want to ask you something personal, just between us. When you walk into your kitchen, what's the first thing your eyes land on? Is it open space or is it piled convenience? That split-second impression matters because your eyes are connected to your nervous system. And if they register pressure, your body will feel it, even if you think you're used to it. Now let's talk solutions. If you absolutely must place something above the fridge, let it be intentional. One beautiful bowl, a light wooden tray with dried herbs, a single plant with upward flow, golden pothos, lucky bamboo, or even a peace lily, but not multiple, not heavy, not clutter. Let the top of your fridge become a space of symbolic lift, not symbolic burden. You see, in Feng Shui, we don't just decorate, we declare. Every object placed in a home is a vote for how you want to feel. So ask yourself, is that old box voting for peace? Is that basket of plastic bags helping your clarity? Is that leaning stack of recipe books contributing to your joy? And this is where I ask you to be honest, not just with your kitchen, but with your intentions. What are you ready to clear out so that your energy can rise? Because just like your fridge keeps food fresh, the space above it keeps your goals inspired. You deserve that freshness. You deserve that lift. To wrap this up, and I mean really let this land, I want you to hear this. The top of your fridge is not a shelf, it is a stage, and what you place there will either perform hope or rehearse delay. Choose wisely. If you're still with me, that means something in you knows it's time. Time to release, rearrange, and reclaim your energy. So take a moment, maybe tonight, and look at that fridge top with new eyes. Ask it what it's been trying to tell you, and then set it free. This section is your turning point, the most common mistake viewers make, and the easiest to fix. That's why we call it the retention peak, because it's where lives start to shift. If this message has stirred something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below. Let me know what's currently living on your fridge. And if you clear it, tell me how you feel afterward. You're not alone in this. We're all learning to listen better to our spaces, to our energy, to ourselves. And if this video feels like the start of something for you, support this journey. Like it, share it, subscribe to New Day Mindfulness so we can reach 5,000 subscribers and bring even more grounded, healing, and practical Feng Shui into your life and the lives of others. Energy flows where intention goes. And today, your intention just cleared a path. Mistake 4, trash bins, brooms, or cleaning chemicals. On nearby, if you feed your family next to decay, what kind of energy are they really taking in? That's not just a rhetorical question. It's a reflection that gets to the core of how energy, environment, and nourishment intersect in your home. Because let's be honest, most of us treat the area around our fridge like a storage zone. It's convenient, it's available, and it often becomes a default parking space for brooms, mop buckets, garbage bins, and cleaning supplies. But convenience comes at a cost. And in Feng Shui, that cost is measured in vibrational conflict. See, the refrigerator isn't just a cooling appliance. In Feng Shui, it holds a symbolic and energetic function. It preserves the life force of what nourishes you. It stores not only food, but future potential, daily sustenance, and emotional warmth. Now let's imagine placing a trash bin next to this sacred hub of nourishment. What you've done is subtly, but significantly, connect your source of vitality with decay, waste, and rejection. You've fused what gives with what eliminates. And when the brain sees that juxtaposition over and over again, it doesn't just interpret it visually, it encodes it subconsciously. It begins to perceive your nourishment, your meals, your body, your money, as being surrounded by rot, by what isn't needed, by what gets thrown away. That's not poetic exaggeration, it's energetic science. Your subconscious mind is a sponge, constantly absorbing the cues around you, and the most frequent cues tend to form its deepest beliefs. So if your fridge, the place you open to prepare meals, pack lunches, or store fresh produce, is constantly surrounded by smells, objects, and messages tied to getting rid of, that subtle influence starts to affect the way you view food, health, finances, and even self-worth. Think about this. Have you ever felt a wave of disinterest or apathy while cooking? Ever felt like meals were rushed, joyless, or just a means to an end? Or maybe you've noticed that despite eating enough, your energy still feels off, your digestion inconsistent, or your emotions heavy. That's not always because of the ingredients. It's often because of the environment where those ingredients live. When we place items associated with downward energy, like brooms, which sweep away, trash, which removes, or bleach, which sterilizes, right next to where we store items that are meant to fuel life, we create a vibrational confusion. It's like trying to write a love letter with a red pen on a cancellations notice. The message won't land cleanly. The meaning gets tangled. And let's talk specifically about the trash can. Trash bins are designed to hold what no longer serves. In Feng Shui, that's more than just physical. It's energetic. Garbage holds the dead energy of expired food, broken packaging, and daily discards. It is the energy of endings. And when endings are stationed right beside beginnings, like groceries you've just bought or meals you're about to prepare, that clash creates resistance in your life. This is why so many people with poor placement of trash bins near their fridge report recurring health issues, especially gut-related problems, chronic fatigue, or emotional fog. They can't quite explain it, but something always feels off. Now let's turn to cleaning chemicals. These substances may be necessary for hygiene, but they carry intense, aggressive energy. Ammonia, bleach, acidic sprays, these all vibrate with sterility, destruction, and disruption. Yes, they're useful, but they're symbolic of harsh correction. And when stored near your fridge, their presence can slowly disrupt the nurturing, safe, protective energy that food and nourishment are supposed to represent. Even if these items are kept sealed, even if the trash can is clean or lined with scented bags, the energetic imprint remains. You've linked decay with nourishment. You've created a silent story in your home where giving and taking, health and sickness, preservation and disposal are sharing the same corner. This affects the subconscious programming of everyone who interacts with that space. Your kids, your partner, your elderly parents, even your pets. Over time, this configuration can show up in your life in strange ways. An aversion to cooking, poor appetite, frequent misunderstandings during meals, or even financial waste, where money enters your life only to exit just as fast. Why? Because you've created a microcosm where entry and exit, gain and loss exist side by side, and that pattern replicates itself in your daily rhythm. And let's not forget the broom. You might think, well, a broom is neutral, it's just for cleaning, but in Feng Shui, the broom carries more than just dust. It carries energetic residue. Every sweep you make holds emotional intention, a clearing, a pushing away, a moving out of the old. That's why in traditional energy practices, brooms are used carefully and often stored separately from food areas. When placed near a fridge, the message to your subconscious becomes, what we receive, we push away. What we bring in, we later reject. That's not the rhythm you want for your health, your wealth, or your peace. So what's the deeper impact here? It's not just physical proximity, it's vibrational interference. Your fridge, which should be a well of stillness and safety, begins to feel chaotic, polluted, or subtly uncomfortable. Meals prepared in such an environment lack that grounding warmth, and family members often report feeling unsettled while eating or cleaning. Arguments tend to rise in homes where the kitchen is energetically conflicted, not because people dislike each other, but because the space itself carries clashing messages that unsettle the nervous system. It's hard to rest when your food is whispering, "You're not safe here." Let's take a real-world example. A woman I consulted in Chicago had 3 kids and ran a demanding full-time job. She was constantly fatigued, despite having a relatively clean diet. But when we examined her kitchen, we noticed this setup. Her fridge stood between the stove and a large stainless steel garbage can. To the right of the fridge, she had a cabinet stuffed with Clorox wipes, floor polish, and Lysol sprays. And above the fridge, boxes of expired pasta, a broken blender, and a broom wedged between the ceiling and the door frame. That's a symbolic war zone. After moving the trash can across the room, sealing her cleaning supplies in a closed cabinet, and clearing out the upper boxes, she reported, within a week, a noticeable increase in clarity, fewer headaches, and even a boost in her children's appetite. And no, she didn't change her recipes, she changed her kitchen story. That's the power of placement. That's the hidden dialogue your home is having every single day. So what's the ideal remedy here? Keep your trash bin at least several feet away from the fridge, preferably behind a visual barrier like a partition or inside a dedicated cabinet. Store brooms in a utility closet or hang them behind a door, never beside or behind the fridge. And cleaning supplies? Keep them low, enclosed, and far from food prep zones. Use glass containers, soft scents like eucalyptus or citrus, and reserve the area around the fridge for items that vibrate with nourishment, stability, and warmth, like wooden spoons, bowls of fresh fruit, or decorative jars of herbs. Even the small visual cues like a healthy plant near the fridge can shift the energy entirely. And if you don't have space, use intention. A clean white cloth draped over nearby chemicals, a lid on the trash can, or a sealed basket for brooms all send the message, this is a boundary between energies. That's all Feng Shui ever really asks of you, awareness and respect for the dialogue between what you see and what you feel. Because in the end, your kitchen is not just where meals are made, it's where wellness is written. And if your fridge is surrounded by decay, rejection, or clutter, then your life may begin to echo those messages in ways you can't see, but always feel. So ask yourself now, is the area around my fridge helping my life flow? Or is it quietly holding me back? The answer is already in your home. You just have to look. Solutions, where the fridge thrives. Let's take a quiet breath before we move forward, because the last few sections may have stirred something within you. Not just about appliances or placements, but about how unseen choices ripple into your energy, your mood, your body. And now comes the part most people skip in life. Not the warnings, but the wisdom. The gentle, steady clarity of knowing where and how to begin again. Because the truth is this, correcting your fridge's placement isn't just a design tweak. It's a declaration of how you want your life to feel from this point forward. Peaceful, steady, nourishing, grounded. And it all begins with where your fridge lives. Start by letting go of the idea that anywhere it fits is good enough. In Feng Shui, just like in nature, survival and thriving are two very different states. A fridge squeezed into a dark corner near a heat source or stuffed beside chemicals might technically function, but energetically, it's trapped. And if your nourishment source is trapped, so is the vitality in your home. Placement isn't about perfection, it's about breathability. It's about choosing to align with support instead of friction. So let's talk about what true support looks like for this essential object in your life. The first key, Choose a cool, grounded corner that doesn't face directly into a doorway or a hallway. Wei because direct lines invite rushing energy. Just as you wouldn't want your bed facing the door, your fridge shouldn't be exposed to constant energetic currents. A hallway or door directly aligned with the fridge can act like a river that keeps sweeping away the stability you're trying to build. But a corner, a soft, still, contained corner, invites retention. It gives your fridge a space to settle, to anchor its cooling energy and create a calm, energetic field around it. And when your nourishment station is settled, your digestion, your spending habits, your emotional rhythms begin to settle too. Now let's look around that corner. Is it surrounded by breathable space, not too closed in by walls, but also not floating alone? A balanced fridge placement allows for good air circulation, not just in the physical sense, but also energetically. When a fridge is wedged too tightly between walls or between cabinets and appliances, it can cause stagnation. You may notice that your ideas feel slower to flow or that food spoils faster. That's not just airflow, that's energy trapped in a box. Feng Shui teaches us that qi, or life force, must have space to move and room to return. So aim for placement where your fridge has room to exhale, space behind it to breathe, light nearby to refresh it, and surfaces around it that are neither overpowering nor sterile. Cheryl, speaking of surroundings, what lives near your fridge matters almost as much as the fridge itself. We've already explored the draining effects of brooms, trash, and cleaning chemicals. So now let's imagine their opposite, a peace lily on the counter. A ceramic bowl with the image of fresh lemons, a framed print of a soft sunrise in the distance. These are not just decorative, they are energetic companions. Every object carries a frequency, and when your fridge is surrounded by symbols of life, growth, and calm, it absorbs and amplifies those messages into the food you eat and the energy you carry. A golden pothos, simple, humble, easy to maintain, is especially powerful near the fridge. Its trailing vines soften edges, its upward growth stimulates vitality, and its roots in water remind us of emotional steadiness. That's not just pretty, that's programming your space for well-being. And while many people are drawn to shiny or modern finishes, be careful with reflective surfaces near the fridge. Avoid mirrors directly across from or behind the fridge. Why? Because mirrors double what they reflect. If your fridge is already holding tension, a mirror will multiply that tension into the rest of your kitchen. If it's in an unstable spot, a mirror will mirror instability. Instead, opt for a softly reflective wall treatment, like a pale backsplash, a satin-textured paint, or light wood paneling. These materials offer gentle brightness without doubling the energetic load. The shelf above the fridge is another overlooked space. Often forgotten, often dusty, often cluttered. But in Feng Shui, the area above your nourishment source speaks to the ceiling of your abundance, the roof of your health. If that shelf is jammed with forgotten boxes or dead appliances, your upward energy gets blocked, and with it, your sense of possibility. So clear it, dust it, bless it, and if you can, place something intentional up there. A bamboo basket with soft cloth napkins, a small wooden tray with herbal jars, or simply a piece of light-colored wood. The goal is to say to your home, I am open above. I have nothing to hide. I am clear about where my nourishment comes from and where it's taking me. Let's talk now about color and material. In kitchen Feng Shui, metal is often overused. Stainless steel everywhere, chrome handles, metallic shelves. And while metal can support clarity and structure, too much of it near your fridge creates emotional coldness. Balance this by incorporating wood nearby. A wooden knife block, a small oak stool, or even wooden cabinet handles can invite a sense of grounded presence. The element of wood encourages upward movement and harmony. Exactly the kind of energy you want when food becomes emotion and emotion becomes family dynamic. Here's another subtle cue: light. The area around your fridge should never feel dim or neglected. Even if your kitchen is small, you can use under cabinet lights, warm tone bulbs, or natural light to keep the space awake but soft. Cold white light often makes food feel sterile, whereas a golden glow invites warmth and digestion. You want your fridge corner to feel like morning, not like midnight. Think of the feeling of walking into a kitchen where someone just poured coffee. That's the energy to aim for. Quiet, alive, uncluttered. And what about direction? While not every home can change layout, if you have the option, place your fridge toward a direction aligned with personal growth. In general, Northeast supports knowledge and mindfulness, East supports health, and Southeast supports wealth and abundance. A fridge in the Southeast corner, for example, reinforces financial stability, so long as it's not clashing with fire elements. But more important than direction is intention. If your fridge placement is intentional, respectful, and supported, its benefits multiply. If it's accidental, ignored, or energetically confused, those mixed messages ripple into your body and behavior. Let's wrap this section with something powerful yet simple, a cue that many forget. What you allow near your fridge, you allow into your energy field. That's why placement is more than just space, it's self-respect. If your fridge feels like an afterthought, you may find that meals become mindless, digestion becomes erratic, and money feels like it's always leaking. But when your fridge becomes a sanctuary of calm, clarity, and soft order, something shifts in you. You begin to nourish yourself differently. You slow down. You savor. You become more conscious of what enters your body and your life. And this isn't abstract. Clients who reposition their fridges, clearing clutter, softening visuals, and realigning materials often report tangible results. A calmer dinner hour, a partner less stressed, kids with better focus, even better sleep and reduced food waste. Why? Because everything is connected. And when the place that stores your nourishment is balanced, it quietly rebalances everything else. So let your fridge live where peace lives, not near rejection, not under pressure, not beside chaos. Let it breathe, let it anchor. Let it remind your entire household, this is where we begin again, every day with sustenance, softness, and space. Final, we often think transformation begins with grand gestures or major renovations. But the real shift, the kind that heals you from the inside out, starts with a choice so small it's almost invisible. It begins at the corner of your kitchen, right next to your fridge. Because the truth is, your refrigerator doesn't just hold food, it holds the frequency of your life. And what surrounds it either supports your calm or steals from it quietly, day after day. That's the kind of truth most people never stop to consider, until the noise inside their home becomes too loud to ignore. We've just walked through some of the most common, yet most impactful missteps. The invisible war between fire and cold when your stove sits too close. The sharp tension that creeps in when blades or tools linger nearby. The heavy fatigue that lingers when clutter rests on top. And the draining effect of trash and chemicals sitting just inches from where you nourish your body. These aren't rare mistakes. They're everywhere. In fact, they're so common that most homes I've visited across cities, cultures, and income levels share at least two of them. And not because people don't care, but because no one ever taught them to see these placements for what they really are. Energetic messages. Your home has been whispering to you all along. Your job now is simply to listen. And that's the power of Feng Shui, not superstition, not fear-based design, but deep attention. It's the quiet art of asking, what is this space saying about how I want to live? Because the way your fridge breathes reflects how you breathe. The chaos or clarity around it shapes how you move through meals, moments, and money. And the best part? You don't need to renovate. You don't need to spend. You just need to realign. Maybe that means moving the trash bin a few feet away. Maybe that means clearing the top shelf for the first time in years. Maybe it means placing a small plant beside your fridge and letting it remind you daily, growth can be gentle and healing begins at home. At New Day Mindfulness, this has always been our mission, not to tell you how to live, but to help you see what your space has been saying, so you can live with more awareness, more softness, and more peace. Because we believe your home should feed your spirit just as much as your body, and we believe in starting with what's real, what's grounded, and what's already within reach. So let this be your invitation. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for presence. Start with one small shift. Clear one object. Light one corner. Listen to what that space begins to feel like. And if it breathes easier, if you sleep better, if your mornings feel more still, you'll know the energy is responding, because it always does. And now, if this video has helped you see your home and yourself differently, I have a simple request. If this message touched something in you, I invite you to like this video, share it with someone who might need this clarity, and subscribe to New Day Mindfulness. I'm on a journey to reach 5,000 mindful souls, and your support helps me continue sharing grounded, healing Feng Shui that makes a difference. One home, one fridge, one intention at a time. Let's grow together with light, with grace, and with the quiet courage to turn awareness into action.